Okay, thank you ever so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to have a very special guest with me this afternoon. It's the band who is the CEO of Contactually, and this is a special edition of the Purple Coffee Podcast because it's all in aid of the Successful Mistake and the fantastic chapter partnership that we're doing with Contactually. So, first of all, Svi, thank you ever so much for, well, jumping on call with me and for supporting this little book that I'm writing.
Absolutely. Listen, I'm an entrepreneur myself, right? Contactually, 4 years ago was a little idea in my Evernote. So whatever I can do to help others on their journey, I am absolutely all about.
Man, excellent to hear. And yes, all great things often start in Evernote from my end too. And before we get going, and I'm going to pass things over to you so you can explain a little bit more about the partnership from your end and Contactually. I just want to mention like how I came across Contactually and how I use it, and ultimately why I reached out to Contactually to be a partner. So I actually came across Contactually through a friend of mine, John Corcoran, and it's one of those bittersweet moments because I immediately fell in love and thought, fantastic, this is going to help me not only do all the interviews for the book, but my general entrepreneurial day. But then I was really cross because I was like, why didn't I know about this 2 years ago when I started this journey? It would have made everything so much easier. So it was one of those where I was really happy and at the same time, very, very sad. So basically, I use Contactually day in, day out. So, Svi, thank you so much for producing a great tool. It's not only helped me connect with entrepreneurs for the Successful Mistake book, but then just follow up, nurture relationships, and generally, be a daily part of my world in terms of client work and everything in between. So, a big kudos and thumbs up from me, man.
Appreciate that. And obviously, thank you so much for for chatting with me this morning. You're right. First off, I'm sorry that we didn't tell you about this earlier.
You should have done. I
Get me?
forgive you.
Uh, Yeah, but my no, like this is one of the challenges that I think any company sees. Once you kind of reach this point where you realize like, wow, this is working and it makes a difference for people, how do you get this out to the world? How do you tell millions about this, right? We know that millions and millions of people could benefit from using Contactually. How do we get this out there? And so, yeah, my marketing team's got their work cut out for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a very tricky thing. There's millions and millions of people out in the world. Like you say, lots of people are going to benefit from your tool. But it's part of the fun, I suppose, and it's part of that organic growth. And don't worry, I forgive you. I found out about Contactually eventually, so that is the main thing. And for anyone who doesn't know about Contactually, I'm now going to pass it over to you just to explain a little bit briefly what Contactually does and how it helps entrepreneurs like myself.
Absolutely. So the core thing that I think we see, in entrepreneurship, in business in general, and even our careers, is relationships and the people who know us is one of the most important ingredients in a successful job, career, life, right? Um, and the important to do that, it's important to be able to capture, track, organize, and stay in touch with those important relationships. And so, what Contactually does is we help you stay in touch with those people. And we do that by connecting to your email, calendar, phone, text message, whatever you have, and then helping you figure out and organize and identify these are the important relationships right now. Here's how often I need to stay in touch with them. And on a day by day basis, we make it so simple for you to build this incredibly strong network and get results from your network by telling you exactly who you need to get in touch with, exactly what to say, and then making it very, very easy for you.
Fantastic. And I always like to look at it. I don't care who you are or what kind of business you're in the industry. We're all ultimately in a people business. We're all people communicating with other people, and your network and your relationships are pretty much everything. And when I first started this journey, it was somewhat manageable to get in touch with the entrepreneurs for the book and the interviews. But once you start getting busier with client work, with various different projects, with more and more people on a daily basis that you need to touch base with, it becomes really difficult. And Contactually is just one of those tools that aids you. You know, it doesn't kind of say, like, it isn't the be all and end all of building a relationship. In the end of the day, it's still up to you to do it and to nurture them. But it just gives you reminders. Like, you haven't spoken to Joe Blogs for the past few weeks, and this is an important person in your network. So you maybe should just shoot them a quick hello on Twitter, and it just speeds up the process, makes you more, I suppose, conscious about your relationships. And that's all we can really expect from tools and softwares.
Absolutely. And so the kind of two of the core components behind Contactually, right, is one, we forget, right? We at any point can like maybe at most remember 150 people at a time, which isn't really that many people. And so what happens to all the other people that are interesting and important to you? And so, making sure that you can even remember who you want to talk to, who's important for you, that's an important thing. So capturing that is what we do. And then, we know that because we forget people, right? People forget about us too, right? And so the people that we want to remember us, the people we want to do business with, right? It's important they stay top of mind with them. And so those two, kind of ideas combined together is the core of what Contactually provides.
Absolutely. And one of the fantastic things about the book is, obviously I've been writing the book and it's all around about mistakes and failure and how to overcome them. But there's been lots of side benefits for me where, regarding relationships and how to nurture them and build them. And one of the biggest lessons I've learned, if not the biggest of all, just a general life one, is the importance of people and building those relationships. And I have made mistakes along the line sort of related to that too, and Contactually certainly helped me. So while we're on the book, I'm really excited going forward that you're going to be writing an introduction to one of the chapters for the book. So I don't want you to focus too much on mistakes and failure and how that links in with yourself and Contactually, because we're going to be doing all that fairly soon anyway. But yeah, I want to just kind of touch upon things and give you a quick insight into like, how do you see mistakes and how have they formed an important role in your sort of own journey going forward?
Um, Absolutely. The core idea is mistakes are the best learning component that I have. um, Mistakes how we learn learn what to do and what not to do. My team makes mistakes all the time. I make mistakes all the time, and I feel that we've learned more from our failures than from our successes. And so, it actually starts to build a culture where you actually have to encourage people to make mistakes, encourage people to make what most likely will be the wrong decision, because then they'll that, right? I mean, I think early, in our childhood, we're taught mistakes are bad. You got a 80 out of 100 on a group on a test, right? That's bad. You made these like mistakes. No, mistakes are like the best way. I will never I've made many mistakes that I now know I will never repeat again because they were such great learning experiences.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. And I like to say, I'm so excited to see what you come up with. Closer to the time, obviously, you're going to be writing a chapter, an
Of course.
introduction to the chapter. It's going to provide so much value. I'm so excited to see what you come up with there. Very excited indeed. But let's just focus now a little bit on partnerships. I know Contactually do a lot of partnerships with various different people and companies. So what kind of benefits have the various partnerships and sponsorships and connections that you've done from a company? How has it helped Contactually grow? And I suppose what can we expect from Contactually and the success and the state going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the core thing that I think about, and we talked about this early on, kind of in starting the company, is the concept of a luck surface area, right? And by having more and more people who know about you or who are talking about you or who believe in you, that increases your chance of getting lucky, right? We got very lucky by getting to know John Corcoran, right? And that's able to obviously now we're very lucky to be able to work with you. And so that's kind of like how we think about it. So, obviously by working with people such as yourself and John Corcoran and Michael Port, et cetera, yes, obviously they're able to provide a valuable service to the audience, to your audiences by talking about by, giving them a service that, will hopefully change their careers and change their lives. But at the same time, we obviously we get people that, become fans and supporters and yeah, frankly, customers, right? I'm not going to lie, we are a startup and, we provide a service not just for, the greater good, but because we're building a business as well. And so I think, it's kind of this kind of symbiotic relationships that I think everyone strives to be able to find.
Oh, I'm so excited, and we've got lots of tricks up his sleeves regarding the partnership, not just in the here and now at the announcing of this little shindig that we've got going on, but going forward and as we edge closer to the publication of the book. And the book, for the most part, is aimed at new and young entrepreneurs, those who are still finding their feet and trying to build, and build. So I'm hoping you can just share a couple of the features that Contactually offer, possibly a few of the hidden ones that people might not be aware of, that are designed specifically for entrepreneurs in mind, those who are solopreneurs and are still a one-man band and growing. How can Contactually help, ultimately folk like myself, grow above and beyond ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. So the core baseline of Contactually is buckets and follow up, right? We pull all your contacts into one place, then we help you organize it so you can create a bucket of potential authors for the book or potential sponsors for the book or people who use Contactually. I have, for example, potential investors. You can make sure that Contactually helps you stay in touch with them. So that's kind of that's the core baseline of Contactually. A couple of features that I think are valuable, which aren't necessarily so obvious. It's not like we keep them as like super secret, but we're a startup, and so we make mistakes, and so right now our mistake is not making these things more apparent. Is something called scale mail, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we know that there's right now that you can either like from your computer you can either send one email to one person or like CC or BCC 50 people, right? But what Contactually develop is we actually develop something in the middle, and it's called scale mail. And what allows you to do is allows you to write one email, and that email can then go out to 50 people as individual messages, right? And so you can customize it. So you can say, all right, right here, put in their first name. Right here, put the last time we spoke to them. Right here, put their company. And then Contactually will just kind of like spit it all out as individual emails. So it allows you to maintain personal one-on-one touch in a bulk fashion, right? So they're individual messages that you had to write each individual one. Contactually like really helps you stay in touch. Be very useful for you is we have a feature called pipelines, and it's people look at it and they're like, oh, it's used for a sales pipeline, right? All right, it's used to manage a transaction. But what we see, it's actually not used to just manage like a sales process. People use it, and we use it to manage any kind of sequence of events that need to happen, right? So, for example, for you, you could technically, if you wanted to, you could use it to manage all of like all of like the people that you are interviewing, right? And you can say like, all right, these are the people that I have an idea to interview. These are the people I've reached out to. These are the people that like I'm actively doing. These are the people that I need to edit afterwards, right? It can be used for anything. I use it for hiring. Some people use it for like managing like a home closing process, right? It's that kind of stuff that the pipeline is one of those pieces of functionality that we see is so incredibly powerful when people just figure out how to use it for themselves.
Oh man, that is so cool. And pipelines and the scale mail feature is something that I've just started to dip my toe in recent weeks, months, and it was another one of those things where I was like, wow, I could have been using this so much sooner. And it's one of those tools, like most good tools. They have a broader sense where if you just want to use it on a small scale, you can. You don't, it's user friendly. You don't have to like have a degree in that particular tool to make it work. But then if you want to go deeper and really go to town on things, you can. So yeah, I'm very excited for myself as much as anything, just to continue to learn the process and to delve a bit deeper and deeper into Contactually. So just to finish things up, because like I say, this is just a quick intro into what we can expect moving forward. I'm hoping you can just share a few of your plans. We're currently in May 2015. Summer is right around the corner. What can we expect from Contactually over the summer months? What have you got up your sleeve?
So, one of the things that we see is incredibly valuable for people is, like email templates, like pipelines programs, right? Those are kind of the things that we see. But really, like what we found is be so incredibly right? Which pipelines work, which email templates work, which programs seem to work. And so over the summer, we're going to be releasing actually a full library where users can upload and share with each other, hey, this is an email template I wrote that's performing really well. This is a program that I built for like after someone changes jobs or when someone has a new baby that I have found so valuable and I want to be able to share with the community. So we started testing the waters by doing a lot of group webinars, right? Doing webinar just for real estate agents to share advice or for entrepreneurs to share advice on using Contactually. And now we're actually going to be building that more into the product. So that's kind of like one of the bigger things that we're working with. And then obviously, as you start to build a team, we spend a lot of time understanding, not just how you build relationships, but how a team builds relationships, how teams operate and work together. And we're going to be investing a lot of time on that thread too.
Man, very exciting, and I love how you're really trying to involve the community, make it as us community. It's not just you speaking to them, but them speaking to you, and them, more importantly, speaking to each other. That's when things really go to town and develop to the next level. So I'm very excited about that. I hope everyone listening is too. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you for being part of the Success Mistake. I'm very excited about what we have planned going forward, not just in the here and now, but as the book gets closer to publication and beyond. For those who are wanting to find out a little bit more about Contactually, you've struck a nerve. Where can they go? Where can they go to find out more?
Yeah, so that's www.contactually.com. So that's like contact and actually put together. So contactually.com. And obviously we're at Contactually on Twitter.
Absolutely. Well, there'll be all the links on the show notes and everything like that, but you should be sure to check it out. We've got lots coming up, including guest posts and webinars, and like I say, many more things in the pipeline. So, Svi, thank you so much. I'm so excited about what's ahead. I can't wait to read your little intro to the chapter in the coming weeks and months. It's going to be exciting. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting.
Likewise, really appreciate your time, and obviously for all of the viewers of this, really appreciate you giving a little bit of time to the two of us today as well. So thanks so much, and have a great day.
Couldn't say it better myself. Okay, thanks everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. From me and Svi, goodbye. Cheers.